The Amiga CD32. It's absolutely no secret that it's possibly one of our favourite consoles here in CRG. In fact, I'd maybe go so far as to say it is my favourite console. Definitely my favourite Amiga though. And it's absolutely perfect for this setup. In front of the big TV, the CD32 with a TF328 or a TF330 in it is probably the best way to enjoy the classic Amiga games library. Well, it would be, but there is one little niggling annoyance. That's, well, drives me crazy anyway. If you want to play one of your WHDLoad games, well, you have to browse to the directory. What are we going to play? Game begin with F. Look at the state of this. You're going to have to hunt through this to find whatever game it is you want. Well, there is a way to fix that now. With a brilliant wee bit of software called Xbench. And so today in CRG, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to set up your own CF card with Workbench 3.1, WHDLoad, a pile of games and Xbench. So that you can enjoy your games library on your wee Amiga console in front of the big TV and use nothing more than your joypad to browse through the list of games, just like this. So what were we going to do? We're going to play a game again with F, weren't we? Here we are. We can pick whatever we want. How about a bit of fighting spirit? No mucking about with the mouse, no mucking about searching for directories. Game just loads up. Right, let's get the CF card in the PC and I'll show you how to set it up like this. Right, so let's get our CF card set up. We're on the Windows PC here. The CF card is connected over USB. First thing we need to do is clean it. So if we click down here in Windows 10, we can type CMD, you open the command prompt, and then we can run disk part. And here we want to list disk. And in this instance, it is disk 6 that we are looking for, which is our 8GB CF card. So we select disk 6. And then we want to clean that disk. Be very sure you're cleaning the correct disk. If I was to clean, say, disk 0 on this, well, it would be a bad day. Right, so disk cleaned, type exit, and exit. We're going to need some files to do this. So first of all, if you take a look in the description below, you'll see a Dropbox link to a zip file which contains this folder. And this has various bits and pieces in it that we're going to be using today. I want you to open this README file and just leave it in the corner of the screen. Under Kickstarts in here, these two files here will not be included in the download. These are the A500 Kickstart and the A1200 Kickstart, so that's Kickstart 1.3 and Kickstart 3.1. You will need to obtain them yourselves. They are legally owned by Calanto and can be purchased as part of the Amiga Forever package. When you do get them though, you must rename them as they are here. And if you do have them, stick them into this Kickstarts folder along with these two RTB files, which will be included in the download. You're also going to need the Workbench 3.1 discs. Again, they're part of Amiga Forever. And we're going to need some WHDLoad games and demos. If you do a Google search for those, you should find links to the EAB FTP server where you can just download the full packs or individual games, whatever you want. Right. UAE. We're running this as administrator. I already have a configuration set up here, but I'll just show you quickly how to do that. So CPU, FPU, we're going to go 030, we want to turn on JIT and fast as possible. Chipset, we're going to set this to AGA, and chipset extra, we're going to set to 1200. Not worried about that. ROM, we're going to change this to Kickstart 3.1 A1200. RAM, we're going to give it 2 mega chip RAM, no slow RAM, and 64 megabytes of Z3 fast. Floppy drive, we'll just turn on all 4 of these for now, and then set the floppy drive speed to turbo. We'll come back to this in a minute. CD and hard drive, we're going to add our CF card. So it's this one here in our instance, so it's the 7.6 gig scan disk. And down here you must change this to Commodore IDE. We'll also add our PC directory. We don't need a bootable. And just select the PC directory wherever it is on your hard drive. Right, before we go any further, we will save our configuration. So I have called this CD32 CF card. Click save. That's that. Right, back to floppy drives. And we're going to be using our Workbench 3.1 and the install floppy. And we can click start. Okay, here we are. We have our RAM disk, our install disk, and our PC floppy. Don't worry about these. We will sort this out in a minute. Right, so install on HD Tools. We are going to open our HD Toolbox and change drive type. If there's anything in here, just delete it. Then we need to define new and reconfiguration. OK and OK, continue. Now we will partition this drive. So this just cuts this 8 gig drive in half, gives us 2 3.9 gig partitions there, so we'll just delete that one. This partition, which we're going to call D80, we're going to change this to about 500 meg, that'll do. And we're going to use that for Workbench, Xbench, WHDLoad, all those bits and pieces. But we are going to change this file system. So it's currently International Fast File System. We're going to change that to Professional File System 3. So click here, Advanced Options. Then we need to add the new file system. Click that. Add new file system. And it's stored in the root of our PC directory. So PC, then PFS3AIO. Hit enter. Click OK. We need to change this DOS type. If you refer to the README file, you'll see it there at the top of it. So it's 0x50465303. Hit enter to confirm and click OK. Then we need to change file system, so click here, PFS3, and change this max transfer to again what it says in the README file, which is 0x1FE00. Now you must press enter to confirm. If you don't press enter and just click OK, you'll see it hasn't accepted the change here. Hit enter, click OK, and then you can see it remembers it. Right, we need another couple of partitions on this drive, so new partition, click here again. Now, due to a limitation of this HD Toolbox, we cannot have a partition over 4 gigabytes in size, and it's recommended to keep it under 3,900 megabytes. So we'll just make this partition 3888. We're going to call this DH1. And we need to change our file system again. We also need to change this max transfer. Then we'll create one more, just to use the rest of the drive. And that's it. Now you can use partitions bigger than this. If you remember back to our Amiga hard drive tutorial videos, we set up an 80 gig drive. So we had, I think it was a 1 gig partition for Workbench, then we had 40 gig and then whatever was left. But you do need to move to Workbench 3.9 to do that. We're only using Workbench 3.1 today, that's why we have this limitation here. So we've got our 3 partitions set up, click OK, and save changes to drive. Now I need to reboot the system. Okay, our drive should appear here. There we are. So DH0, you want to click on it once to select it, right click, icon, format disk. We don't need a trash can, and we're going to call this one Workbench. And always quick format. You should see this coming up, just confirming we're using professional file system. Then we'll do the same with these other two, DH1, we'll call that WHDLoad games. Don't need the trash can, quick format. And DH2 we're going to call WHDLoad demos. Right, now we need to install Workbench. So open install folder, and English. Proceed, install release 3.1, intermediate user, proceed with install, proceed. This just confirms it's going to install release 3.1 on the Workbench drive. No printers required. I'm using British key maps. Right, now it's asking for the Workbench disk, so F12, we'll insert the Workbench disk in here. And while we have this open, we'll just stick storage in there and local in there. Click OK and let it do its thing. Okay, it's looking for the extras disk now, so F12 again. It's finished for Workbench, so we'll change that one to extras. Then it's looking fonts, so we'll just change this one again. That's it. So we'll just press F12 one more time, we'll eject all these disks. And then click proceed. UAE will now boot to the CF card. There it is. Right, next thing we need to do is copy some files across from our PC directory into Workbench. So we'll just open Workbench, leave it up there, and open PC and have it down here. And if you refer to the README file again, it will show you where to copy things to and from. So into devs, we need to copy the SCSI device. This one here. So just click on it and drag and drop. That's it, that's it copied. We then need to copy a few things into C, which you can't see in here, so what you need to do is right click and show all files. There's C. Back down here, we need to move installer. We need load module. We need set patch. And you want to replace the existing one. You You also need this LHA, so drag that across. Right, and then we need to move PFS3 AIO into L, so drag that into there. Right, while we're in here, we'll just do this now actually. So if you open this Kickstarts folder here, and then this Kickstarts folder, you want to drag that into devs. Okay. What we're going to do now is load the new SCSI device. So we will go into System and Shell, and you want to type ed s:startup -sequence, hit enter. Then at the very top here, type in what it says in the readme file, so the c::load module space devs :SCSI dot device dot 43.45. Right click, go to project and save, and then right click project and quit. We can now restart the Amiga, so F12, restart and start. Okay, so we'll just quickly check that that has worked. So open Workbench, System and Shell, and we'll just type version SCSI.device, and that confirms it's now using SCSI.device 43.45. Okay, so we need to install some more software. So open PC again. This time we're going to install Dropbox. There's one here. Intermediate user. We'll just install it on the system drive. Proceed. That's that. Okay. Right, we have to restart the machine quickly, so just restart and then start. So we'll open Workbench. There's Dropbox installed here. And what we're going to do is just leave this out. So we just click on it once, right click, icons, leave out. In fact, I'm going to put it over here, make it neat. And then we want to window snapshot all. That just means next time we start the Amiga, this will always be here out on the desktop. So we'll load Dropbox, and we're going to use it now to start transferring things back and forward. So we're looking for our PC drive, so PC : and enter. There we are. On this side, we're just going back to date 0. We need our WHDLoad and Workbench. On this side here, we're just going to make a directory we're going to call temp, so we can delete it again later. We'll go into that, and we want to select these two and click Arc Extract. Oh, sorry, you need to select this side first. See where it's red there? That means this side selected. So WHDLoad, Workbench, Arc Extract. That's that. Now if we go in here, open the temp folder, we can install WHDLoad. Just install it in the default folder in C. That's it. For whatever reason, Workbench doesn't have an icon, so you need to go Window, Show All Files. There it is there. So we're going to run this installer. And we're just going to install this onto the Workbench directory. And that is that. Right, we're finished with this temporary now, so we can delete that. So just select it, icon, delete. Don't need that anymore. There's Workbench there sitting over the top of prefs. We can just clean up. That sorts that out. And if you do a snapshot, it just remembers that's how it looks. So next time I open it looks the same. Right, we now need to start copying some games across. So we'll load directory Opus again. On this side here, we're going to go browse to our PC drive. On this side here, we're going to start with DH1, which is our WHDLoad games. So if you open the WHDLoad folder, that is in the PC directory. And if you just copy this folder here across, it gives us all our different letters that we can stick the LHA files into, extract the LHA packages into. Likewise, if we do the same with demos, so it's DH2, select demos from the PC folder and copy that across. Right. We just need to jump back into the emulator quickly, so F12. We can turn these off now, actually, we don't need them anymore. So here on the hard drives tab, we're just going to modify this. We're finished with our PC directory. So we're going to change the directory to wherever our WHDLoad files are saved. Okay, so back into the directory Opus. PC on this side is our WHDLoad stuff this time. We'll do a few games first of all, so DH1. So if we open A, for example, on this side, under the games, A on this side, you can see here, here's all the archives. So if we just go through and pick a couple, I'm only going to pick a couple for now. I'll come back over this and get all the games I want later. But we'll just take a few for now, just so I can show you it all working. There's a few there selected, so you just go down through the list and click on them individually. You don't want to double click. If you do double click, it will open the LHA and show you the contents of it. If you do that, just hit escape, it takes you back. So once you're satisfied with the games you've selected, just click here, Arc Extract again. That will extract those archives onto your CF card. That's that. We can go out of that then, and go into another letter, say G. And then we can pick another couple of games and extract those. Nice, that'll do. So again, just click Arc Extract. There we are. And then you can just work your way down through all the letters and install them into the corresponding letters here. Simple as that. We can do the same with our demos. So we'll move to DH2, which we're using to hold our demos. So let me see, what's a couple of good demos. S. Wonder who can guess what demo I'm going after. No, it's not the stag demos. Get your mind out of the gutter. State of the art. There it is. We'll extract that one. And then a favorite of mine. Under E. Where is it? Enigma is a brilliant demo. We'll extract that one too. Okay, so again you can just go down through and extract whatever you want. In fact, with the 3 gig partition you have plenty of room here for the complete demos package. With this drive here though, being about 3.5 gig towards 4 gig, you will not fit the full games package on it. So you will need to go through and cherry pick your favourites. You will be able to fit several hundred games on it, mind, but just not the complete package. Right, so just one last thing to do. We're going to edit our startup sequence again to automatically load Xbench. So we'll open shell again. Then we're going to edit S startup sequence. And if we scroll right to the very bottom of this, just in here above the C: load workbench line, we need to add in the 2 lines from the bottom of our readme file. So it is run and that is it. So right click, save, and quit. And press F12. We no longer need this PC directory, so we can remove that again for now. I am going to add that back on later and put a load more games and demos on this before we stick it in the CD32, but just going to show you this working for now. So we'll remove that, click restart and start. Okay, so we'll boot the workbench very quickly. That fades away and we're straight into Xbench. You're given this registration screen first and you'll need to register to get a key that does away with that. Do encourage everyone to register as it helps support the developer. And this is it, Xbench. Main menu with launchers, Explorer, Shell, Setup and Exit. So let's jump into Setup quickly. And what we're interested in is launchers. So at the top here, you want to set your list type to WHDLoad, and I'm going to call this one Games. Then need to browse to the path where our games are, so that's this drive. Click update and that adds our 14 games to the list 1. List 2 then we're going to set the WHDLoad as well, and we'll call this one demos. Then we'll browse and select our WHDLoad demos drive. Click OK and update, and that's added our 2 demos to the list 2. Now you can also add executables from hard drive installed games that may be not available on WHDLoad, but we're not going to bother with that today. In order to do that, what you'll need to do is find the executable for the game and rename it and type .exe at the end of it, just so Xbench can find it. Right, that's it. Click Exit Setup. We can now go into our launchers. And it sticks you straight into the games launcher. We can press Tab on the keyboard to move us across to demos, or when we get this into the CD32, you just press blue to move between them. And one of my favourites, let's load a bit of Gods. There you have it, that's Xbench working. We have our two lists, one for games, one for demos. I'm going to go back now and install and load more games and demos onto the CF card. And then we'll be back later to test it in the real CD32. Right, a new day. It was getting kind of late before. So, what have I been up to? Well, in between times I have changed this around a wee bit. So what was Drive DH1, that was called WHDLoad Games, I've just renamed Games on its own. And what was Drive DH2, that was WHDLoad Demos, I've just renamed Files. Because we jump into the emulation, I have stuck another folder in here which I've just called Apps and put sysinfo in there. There's our WHDLoad Demos in there now. In the games folder though, or on the games drive, I've put our WHDLoad games in here, but I've also created this folder here, HD games, hard drive games, and I've added a couple of hard drive installable games on here that are not part of the WHDLoad package. And I'm just going to show you quickly how to add these into Xbench. We did touch on it briefly before, but I thought it'd be important just to show you how to do this. So for the likes of RotoVenture here, what you need to do is select the icon, and you want to right click icons and rename, and you need to add this to the end of it, .exe. So the executable icons for games will just read like that, for example, but you need to type on .exe. I'd already done it in that case, that's why I had it there. Same with Gunby. You can see I've already added the .exe to that, but you'll need to do that yourself. And in doing that, it just lets Xbench see it. There is just one other thing we need to do quickly before starting into Xbench again. I just want to jump into Shell, and we're going to edit our startup sequence again. Because we're using this on a CD32 that doesn't have drive DFO, doesn't have a floppy drive, we need to remove this line. I'm just going to comment the line out. You comment it out by putting a semicolon. But we also need to tell Workbench to stop looking for a floppy drive, so you need to type the following in. So assign df0 : and dismount. And that's it, simple as that. If you don't do that, you'll get an error when Workbench loads looking for the drive. We can save that and quit. In fact, what we'll do is we'll just edit our readme file quickly. So you want to comment out or delete line with DFO reference. Just call this CD32 only. And you want to add line assign df0 : dismount. Right, back in the emulator, we will just test that quickly. So F12, restart, and start. Right, what have I done wrong? I think there's meant to be a space in there. Let's try that again. There we are. Worked better that time. Yes, there's meant to be a space in there, so we'll just edit this quickly. There we are. Okay, so in Workbench, we'll just go into setup. We'll go into our launchers again. Right, so our first list type is WHDLoad, it's games. And the path has changed now. The games, WHDLoad. Second one again is WHDLoad and demos. And we changed the path there to files and demos. Now list 3 we're going to add this time is our executables. We're going to call this HD games. And it's under the games drive and HD games folder. Click OK. So we just update all 3 of these quickly. Right, just one other thing to do in setup over here. CD32 pad, we're going to turn that on since we're using this on the CD32. Another thing that can be quite helpful if you don't have a mouse for your console, in here in setup, if you turn this on, joy to mouse. I'm going to leave that off though, just because it will cause conflict in the emulator here. You would need to remove your mouse in the emulator or it will just go crazy. So I'm leaving that off for now. I'll use my trackball in my arcade controller that we've been building here on my CD32, so I don't need that. But for you, if you only have joypads, turn that on. Right, so we'll just test an executable then. Since we're here, this is our games list, our demos list, and now we have our HD games. And we'll try and load a bit of Road Avenger. There we have it. Workbench is loading Road Avenger from the hard drive, completely separate of WHDLoad. Right, I think that is us. That's our CF card setup. We've got all our games, all our demos. Only one thing left to do. Let's get it in the machine and hopefully it works. Okay, so here's the CF card we've been setting up. We have it back in the CD32, connected through our TF330. I just have the lid on that loose for now. I'll tighten it all up later. The CD32 is connected to the TV via this box of tricks down here. This is a wee SCART RGB, the HDMI converter. I picked this up recently. It's just a cheap Chinese thing. Cost about £20. But it does produce a really good picture. And there is pretty much no input lag. None that I could tell anyway. I'll maybe do a full review of this shortly here in CRG. But for now, let's fire up the CD32 and hopefully our CF card is working. Workbench loaded and straight into Workbench. I will have to register this. And I would encourage everyone else to register it also. Right, let's check out our launchers. Okay, so we're in our games. If you want to change then you just press blue. That changes the demos. Press again, that moves to our hard drive games. And while we're here, let's try a bit of Road Avenger. We were running this on the PC off the CF card through WinUAE. Let's see how Workbench handles it on the real machine. So just select the game you want to play, press red. And there we have it. Loading up perfect. Right, there is one still small niggling complaint I would have about the CD32 in front of the TV, even with Xbench. Unfortunately, you still have to get off your backside to reset the console. Hopefully someday they'll add a function that we can reset it from the joypad. Right, here we are back in Xbench. Let's just try a demo. Right, there we are. That's it, our CF card's working. We have Workbench 3.1, a couple of updates, Xbench, a pile of WHDLoad games, a full WHDLoad demo library, and a couple of hard drive installed games. Hopefully you found this wee video helpful. It'll hopefully let you set up your own CF card for your CD32 or even your Amiga 1200 or 600 or whatever. Right, well that's it for this video. If you enjoyed what you've seen, please hit that thumbs up, because it really does help the channel. Please consider subscribing. Why not check out some of my other stuff? And I'll see you again soon.